Hey guys, welcome back to Maverick Watch Reviews, and thanks for joining me. I definitely appreciate it. Today we have the Luminox Leatherback Sea Turtle Giant, and this is model number 0333. And as usual, we're gonna look at the style, the build quality, functions, wearability, and lume. And then I'm gonna let you know what I think of this pretty neat watch from Luminox. Also, make sure you check out my Amazon shopping channel if you like this or any of the other watches I reviewed on my channel. I do get a small commission if you buy from my Amazon store, so I definitely appreciate it. Here you go. Now, I've reviewed a Luminox, gosh, a couple years ago. I'll go ahead and put up that thumbnail for you. I can't remember what type of watch it was. I think it was some sort of automatic or something, but I'll put that up on the screen for you. Neat little watch case, kind of like a clamshell, hard plastic, nice big Luminox logo right there, kind of embossed on the top of the case there, Swiss made. I like this case a lot, man. Pretty nice. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. And here is the watch. Comes on like this little presentation, I don't know, pad, whatever you call this thing. So let's take it out. Let's see what you get inside. This also has like a little felt lining at the bottom, right there. So it looks like you've got a manual written in multiple different languages right here. And this is your warranty card. There you go. All right. So let's take this stuff, move it out of the way. Let's talk about this watch. Again, I haven't reviewed a Luminox in, gosh, man, it's been a long time. Now, guys, I actually thought Luminox was a Swiss company, but they're actually an American company founded in 1989 and currently headquartered in San Rafael, California. They've got a few different lines of watches. They got the Sea line, which this is part of. They've got the Air line, the Land line, and the Space line. They also do a lot of stuff with the Navy SEALs, and they've really got some really cool looking military-inspired watches. And funnily enough, actually in 2006, the Swiss company Mondane actually purchased a 50% stake in Luminox, so they're kind of a Swiss company and kind of an American company. Really interesting looking watches. I don't know if they stack up to like the G-Shock and some of the other stuff out there, but anyway, fantastic looking watch. All right, guys, here are the specs. You're looking at a 44mm CARBONOX and fiberglass case. It's 12 millimeters thick. It's 51.5 millimeters lug to lug. It's on a 22 millimeter NATO strap. You do have a mineral crystal. It's water resistant to 100 meters, which is 330 feet. You've got a Ronda 515 HH6 with about a 4-year power reserve on the battery. You have a screw-in case back, not a screw-down. You also have a non-screw-down crown over there at 3 o'clock. You do have a date over there at 3 o'clock. You do not have a day function. Of course, it's not windable. It is hackable, being a Quartz watch. The lume situation is you've got Super Luminova on this pip up here at 12 o'clock, and you've got tritium tubes on each of the other markings, and I'll show you that here a little bit. Those are supposed to glow for about 25 years, have like a constant glow, a real dull, dim glow, and I'll show you pictures of that here in a little bit. You've got a CARBONOX unidirectional bezel, and of course it is Swiss made. So again, I reviewed a Luminox, I don't know, gosh, years and years ago, and I liked it a lot. I do like their automatic watches. I think they're fantastic looking, and I think this is a fantastic looking watch. You can really tell the build quality is impeccable. And again, it's made out of a CARBONOX material, which is kind of like carbon tubes and like carbon dust impregnated inside of fiberglass. It's incredibly tough, incredibly strong, very lightweight, even obviously more lightweight than titanium, but it's also incredibly strong. I love the look of it. I love the finishing of it. You can tell it's a Swiss-made watch, even though it's very light. You just wouldn't think that right off the top of your head, just kind of feeling this watch. Good looking watch, incredibly legible. I like the big Luminox logo up there at 12 o'clock. I like the color of the dial, that kind of like that sand color. Let me show you the bezel. Great click action on this bezel. Wow. Feels really good. Really nice. Let's see if I can line this thing up here. There we go. Of course, you got your date window, which is incredibly legible. You've got a little white bezel around the date window, which I definitely appreciate. If you look at the second hand, it hits the marks right on the dot. Look at that. I mean, right on the dot. Very nice. You've got tritium tubes in the hour and minute hand. The second hand does not, I believe. Yeah, the second hand doesn't have any tritium tubes in it. So you've got tritium tubes at like every other marker. So you've got them at 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And that's kind of how they reduce costs with this thing. They didn't put a tritium tube at each individual markers. That's why this one's a little less expensive. It's also only water resistant to 100 meters. That's how they shaved a little bit of money off the price for you. Again, it's got a quartz movement. The movement inside of this watch is probably about literally $10 or $15. So you're paying for the fact that it's Swiss made, you're paying for the CARBONOX case, you're paying for the tritium tubes, but the movement inside of this thing is incredibly, incredibly cheap. Not a complicated movement. I mean, it's a nice movement. It's a Swiss Ronda movement, but the movement itself is incredibly inexpensive compared to what you're paying for the watch. You're going to pay about $30 for this thing. And, you know, 220 of that is the case and the tritium tubes. Just kind of keep that in mind. And with a lot of fashion watches, I wouldn't call this a fashion watch at all, but that's the case. You're paying for an incredibly cheap $5 or $10 quartz movement, and the rest of its case. And in the cases of like MVMT and Daniel Wellington, I mean, the markup is just insane, like, you know, like 1,000%. So guys, if you can't stay away from those normal kind of fashion watches, they're just an absolute ripoff. This one, at least you're getting some value for your money. You're getting an incredibly strong and lightweight case. You're getting the tritium tubes. It is Swiss made. So I can, you know, justify, even though it's a very cheap movement inside, I can justify paying that, you know, amount of money for this watch. So anyway, what else I want to tell you? I showed you the bezel action. Let's show you the case back. And in fact, I'll go ahead and put up a picture here real quick. In fact, let me just do that. It's easier just to put up the picture instead of taking this NATO strap off. So there's a picture of the case back. Really nice. I like it a lot. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put up some other pictures, some close-up pictures of the dial for you. So check these out. Again, I love that sand-colored font that they're using. I think the Luminox logo looks fantastic. I like the tritium tubes. I mean, it's just a really good-looking watch. It kind of reminds me of one of the recent Casio Pathfinders that I reviewed. And I can't think of the name of it. I'll put that up on the left-hand side of the screen for you. But it reminds me of one of those Casio Pathfinders. Good-looking watch. Okay, so anyway, I went ahead and showed you what the dial looks like. I showed you the case back. Let's take a look at the strap. Strap's a little bit stiff. Nice NATO strap. And actually, I wanted to show you a close-up of this. And this is the attention to detail I like. This is the close-up of the buckle with the Luminox logo kind of embossed on the buckle, which I thought was pretty cool. Just typical tang and buckle. It looks like you got a couple, I think, movable keepers. Yep, you got movable keepers right here. There you go. You got a fixed keeper right here. And obviously, this is your strap that kind of goes in for the NATO portion of it for extra security. So remember, if you're wearing a NATO, if you lose a spring bar in either side, the watch is still going to remain on your wrist because of this NATO strap. It's a security function, which I really, really like. Let's talk about the rest of the case. Again, there's no obviously polished surfaces. It's all kind of like a matte finish. I like this crown a lot. This crown has incredibly good knurling. It's the perfect size. Plenty of grip on it. I love this crown. Let me go ahead and pop it out. Obviously, first position is your date. Second position is going to be your time. There you go. And of course, it hacks. There you go. What time is it? It's 11:55, something like that. Or 10:55. Yep, 10:55. So there you go. I mean, just a great watch overall. I like it. But here's the deal with these. Now, if you're considering, like say you're in the military, you want a kind of an all-around beater watch, I just don't think, as much as I like these Luminox watches, and I don't mind paying a premium for the materials and the craftsmanship that goes into these, I just don't think you can beat like a G-Shock Rangeman. I just don't think you can do it. This, you're eventually going to have to crack open the case and change out the battery. It's only water resistant to 100 meters, which is not really a big deal. I mean, nobody ever goes more than about literally 10 feet underwater anyway, unless you're an actual diver. So the water resistance rating doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't have any of the tough protections that a G-Shock has. It's not, solar powered. Again, you're going to have to eventually, after a few years, crack into the case back. It doesn't have atomic timekeeping. So for roughly right now about the same money, you can get a Rangeman that comes in multiple different colorways for about the same price, guys. Actually, I'm looking on Amazon now, and it's about $20 less for the basic Rangeman, which I think is one of the best all-around watches ever made. I mean, you get all of the functions you need, solar powered, so you never have to worry about a battery, atomic timekeeping, so you never have to set the time. It's incredibly tough, the water resistance, And as much as I like these Luminox watches, I think the G-Shocks just blow these out of the water. You know, unless you just like the look of an analog watch and don't need those other features, then by all means get one of these Luminoxes. Again, you know, they're Swiss made, they've got the cool tritium tubes. And in fact, let me show you a picture of this. I couldn't get a video of it, but let me show you a picture of what it looks like in the dark. Those are the, you know, the tubes glowing by themselves. Again, they don't need an external light source to glow. And they say they'll glow that steady kind of dull glow for about 25 years. I mean, I have no reason to disbelieve them. But let me also do this real quick. Let me shine a UV light and show you what it looks like in the dark. Not quite as bright though. But if you look right there, that's what you're looking at. I don't know if you can see that. I don't get the reflection. But there you go. You can see them now and see what they look like. And again, that's one reason, you know, they were able to save some money is because they didn't use a tritium tube on every single index like they do with the higher price models. And again, there's just a luminous pip up here at 12 o'clock. I mean, I'm assuming those tritium tubes are very expensive. I wouldn't think they're cheap. So anyway, so just imagine that. You just saw the picture. Just imagine that, you know, duller. And it's definitely bright enough to see in the dark for sure. It's just not going to glow, you know, quite as bright as like Seiko's LumiBright or something like that. But you're definitely going to be able to see it in the dark. And I wish a lot of watches would use those tritium tubes. I think they're just fantastic. I mean, you don't need an external light source. They just keep glowing for 25 years because, I mean, basically they're radioactive. But I'll put what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description field kind of explaining how tritium tubes work. It's really fascinating technology. So guys, you know, tell me what you think of this watch, man. I like it. Again, I don't like it over a G-Shock, especially one of the Rangeman or Mudman or one of the other ones. Like, you know, there's so many different G-Shocks to choose from. Unless you just like, you know, analog timekeeping and you prefer that. Sometimes I do, but even, you know, the newest Pathfinders have analog and digital. So guys, I just think it's hard for Luminox to compete with G-Shock. It's really hard for them to compete, man. And I understand why. But anyway, if you want to get one of these things, they're currently $230 over on Amazon. I'll make sure to put a link in the description field for you. And guys, you know, I love this watch, but again, I don't know. It's got, you know, such stiff competition. Anyway, as always, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you click that notification bell. I definitely appreciate it when you do that. Make sure you're staying safe out there. The government's saying maybe we should start wearing face masks. I know y'all don't want to hear, you know, medical advice from a YouTuber, but, you know, just be safe, be smart, 6 feet, wash your hands, be vigilant about that. Don't take any unnecessary risks. I mean, this too shall pass. It's probably going to take a few more weeks, and then we'll, you know, we won't be over all of it, but we'll be over, you know, the worst part of it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next review. Take care. Bye-bye.